Okay, so hi everyone, I am Neha. Welcome to today's very special episodes. I'm very happy to have you all here. Please let me know whether I am audible, whether my voice is visible, whether I am visible to all of you so that I can quickly get start off. Okay, I'm just waiting for someone's reply that everything is okay from that end so that I can quickly start off this auspicious podcast that I'm very excited to have with Saptarshi sir. Okay, so all good? Chalo. So, welcome to today's very special episode. I am Neha and I'm very thrilled to introduce our esteemed guest, the multifaceted and accomplished Saptarshi Nag sir, a distinguished administrator, a dedicated and celebrated author, a dedicated mentor who basically has left indelible marks in the field, whatever field he has been chosen. With a stellar career planning and with a stellar career in like 17 years in administrative services, he has basically come up with his debut book where he has shared his experiences in his debut book, Make It Big, for the aspirants for the job interview so that they can ace their job interview. Now he's back again with his another masterpiece, which is the current bestseller, that is the 28 Days of Thinking Differently, a transformative self help book which transcends across age, geography, and circumstances. This is a powerful guidebook, guys, and it has this potential to to uphold a universal appeal. This is basically, what do I say? This is basically applicable to individual from 8 to 80. Okay, whatever and regardless of the state of being they are in. So if you are basically quickly or if you are looking for personal growth, if you are seeking to overcome challenges in your life, and if you are looking to upgrade yourself to a better version of yourselves, so I can vouch on this part. This book has this potential, sort of, what do I say, যত বলবো ততই কম হবে. So this book has sort of this potential to truly impact your lives in a intentional manner. What is remarkable about Saptarshi Sir's journey is his willingness to broaden his horizon and come up come out of this mentoring aspect to reach out the masses. So without he has created this masterpiece and this gifted us this very beautiful resource which has been the best selling for the past few months, from the launch to the currently the sell, it is still holding the stake of being the best seller. So without wasting any more time, okay, ladies and gentlemen, joining in welcoming the most inspiring, the incredible, and the insightful Saptarshi Nag sir. Over to you, sir.
Hi, Neha. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Fine. Bit starstruck. This is going to be my first interview with you. Maybe that's why I'm fumbling a bit. But I hope gradually, with the passing time, I'll be okay with this thing.
Definitely, definitely. I'll just make you comfortable while you are hosting the show. So let's start. Let's start and let's have a candid chat. I mean, let's not stick to a particular norm or a particular template, something like that. Let's work with the flow. Whatever the flow takes us, we'll go accordingly. So let's enjoy this session and let's make it enjoyable for others to enjoy this session as well. Okay, over to you. Yeah.
Surely, sir. Actually, sir, I'm looking to have a conversation with you, rather, I said, rather than having an interview session. So basically, I have read your book. I found it very insightful, very inspiring. It has been a roller coaster ride for me. It has incorporated all sorts of aspects that a person can have in his or her life. Okay. So the book, before we start, what my experience and my opinion about the book is. So the book is very versatile, I would say. It has incorporated like 28, I should say, to the power n number of concepts in it. Okay, so the a very popular verse in Bengali, juto shelai theke chondi part, everything is there in the book basically. So as the book has been started with a very casual tone and it has gradually gained its pulses to a more emotional tone, I found it very therapeutic, I would say. And I have quoted previously also, it's like a learning psychology from an administrator. So basically, so I am very happy, at the same time surprised, and also I'm willing to know and eager to know that what made you write this masterpiece. What is the story behind this? What inspired you to draft this thing?
See, basically, I love two terms, particular two terms are there. One is legitimacy, and the second is legacy. See, first a decade or so of my career here in civil service, I took it to start that, to build that legitimacy rather. You know, say, I'll say certain things, and some people will listen to it. Why? Before that, I have to earn that legitimacy. I have to earn that position so that whatever I say, at least a few people can listen to that. You know? So it took me years to build that reputation or legitimacy, whatever you say it, whatever you call it. And after that, once that legitimacy was found, then I dared to write a book that was nearly 6.5 years back, and that was Make It Big. But the horizon of that book was, as you have already stated, it was very narrow. I mean, it had the appeal to reach certain sections of the society only, particularly the aspirants. But somehow it transcended that barrier as well. A few days back, I got a very wonderful comment from one lieutenant colonel posted in Srinagar. So we are very good friends. He was major here and now promoted as lieutenant colonel and promoted in Srinagar. So he was telling me, he just sent me a message and it was like a surprise. So he was telling me that I purchased your first book for my son, and somehow it was lying on his table and I picked it up and I read it, and it transformed my ideas about life. So even though it was written for mostly the aspirants, it somehow touched the life even of an army man. And that was like, I was really what to say, amazed by that comment. So however, or whatever, like, it was limited to a certain section of the society only, but it catered to only the aspirants or maybe some more people. Although it had like, it became number one in 2020 and all India bestseller it was. But after that, I started thinking, am I doing justice to whatever I've learned? I mean, just sticking to one thing, that examination, clearing the examination or clearing the interview, was that I was meant for? No. Then I found the answer, no. I have to do something greater, something better, something more versatile for the society. And that was the legacy I was trying to achieve, or I was trying to leave behind. And with that purpose, I started this writing this book. And initially, I mean, I didn't have the title in my mind. I just wanted to write. I wanted to write whatever was on my mind. And one more thing I just practiced, like, it's often said that do not preach unless you practice. So it goes very well with this book. Whatever I have practiced in my own life, I have preached in that book, or I have tried to tell in that book. And it really takes seriously a lot of time to grow certain habits, you know. So whatever I've written in that book, suppose there is one chapter called anger management. Now it's one of the most difficult issues in the world. Whole world, in fact, is suffering from this problem. They cannot manage their anger. So I'm not an exception. So I had to manage my own anger first. Then I had to write that chapter. I had to believe in whatever I was writing. And my wife was telling me, you do not show anger these days like you used to show earlier. Then I could see the effects of that book. And then I told humorously that, uh, because I'm writing a book and I'm trying to preach whatever I'm practicing. So before telling others, I am managing my own anger first. So there's a chapter like bucket list. So I have also my bucket list, and then I could tell others about having that bucket list. You know? So it's all about that legacy, and I hope that someday people will get inspiration from this book, and they will also start building their legitimacy. And once that legitimacy is done, then they will go for legacy, something that they would leave behind for this world to cherish. So that's it. That's the backstory of this book.
All right. That is very much evident from your persona, sir. Um, that you practice, that you have ingrained and instilled some habits in your personality, which is very much reflected by the way you speak, by the way you have penned down your thoughts in the book. Also, one more thing, this book is basically a manual for one who is lost, I would say, in the journey of life, for a bankrupt person, also for an individual who's looking for a purpose or a meaning in life, also. So, you have basically advised or prescribed the readers to read in a sequel manner, like reading or finishing the book in the 28 days. Okay, so, and you have intentionally skipped the index part of the book also, so that uh, so that they unfold the surprises which the book carries gradually and not by one go. So this is a very unique thoughts, like you have portrayed or you have showcased in your piece of writing. So I have one curious question for you, that when do you get those ideas? Like, is it come in the morning, or is it comes into your pops into your mind at night? Like, ideas will mostly when you come across with those ideas, is it free flowing, or you have a dedicated time slot for inventing such creative ideas in your schedule?
Many of the people I've seen that they give this excuse that I cannot do this work because I'm so much busy. That is one of the excuses that I find so often with people, because I'm busy. This phrase has become so much universal, and it's so much synonymous with procrastination. Procrastination has got a phrase, and that is I am busy. You know? So I had to cull that part, that I'm busy. You know? So basically, whenever I'm working on other things. Simultaneously, my mind is working on my book. है ना? Suppose I love to cook, है ना? I'm keeping that part, my professional part apart, because that's my office thing, है ना? That's separate thing. There I have to consider it absolutely, because that is public service, and you know the pressure of public service. But apart from that, whenever I'm doing any other work, I'm just like I keep on thinking about how to improve that book, and this way, like this indexing thing, and I actually prepared that index, है ना? And then I read the book myself, and then I thought, "Ah, कुछ जम नहीं रहा है, कुछ खास नहीं हो रहा है. It's not like coming up the way I thought it would be." So then I skipped that part. Then I read, then I read once again. Then I saw the effect, because with every chapter, certain mysteries are being unfolded, and the readers, they do not know what lies ahead. If index had been given, they would have been knowing, like there would not have been any surprise. I mean, you have, I think today you have finished reading the book, and the surprises that you have in the last two or three chapters, if I had told earlier, then it would not have been a mystery. So that idea, this way it came out. And certain things like I didn't write when I wrote that book, I was not sure what the chapters would be. And even when the chapters were completed, I didn't know what would be the sequence of those chapters. है ना? So I had to do a lot of permutations and combinations. And if you meet, I'll show you my laptop. And there are basically, the book name is 28 Days of Thinking Differently, but there are actually more than 56 drafts of this book, because I just changed again and again to get the right sequence of chapters. You know? And that like I sleep less. Those who know me, I sleep less. I sleep very late at night, and I have to get up very early in the morning, except 1 or 2 days in the week. So, like when people are sleeping or when they are daydreaming, maybe I was working on that book. And that happens when your mind is full of ideas. Actually, I'm 45 now. I'll be 46. I think more than half of my life I have already spent, and still my head is full of so many ideas. So when they will get the window to, what to say, to nurture this world, so it's the high time. So this way the ideas just come out.
Okay, sir. So I have read the book and I have found that there are 28 chapters. What is your personal favorite? Like, if you are to ask that, if someone asks you, of course, I need to read a sequel, but read it in a sequel. But if someone asks, what is your personal favorite or author's favorite chapters, what it would be?
There are two chapters I love. All the chapters I love the most. One is, and these are completely contrasting chapters. Number one is understanding the power of money. That is one chapter. You have read that, and you know why I'm telling that. You know, Shah Rukh Khan once famously said that poor cannot be philosopher. You know, to be a philosopher, you have to be rich first. So it's like that, understanding the power of money and parents, the chapter about the parents. So these two are the most contrasting chapters, and I think one is 25th and other is 27th. So this is it. These are the two chapters. Now I'll be asking you the same question. What are your two most favorite chapters of this book?
So basically, sir, the first favorite chapter of this book is to have a bucket list. Okay. So it basically keeps you on track. And secondly, me being a very emotional person, I found that chapter on embracing forgiveness or practicing forgiveness is very is like it actually touched my heart. Also, I'm a person who moves here to and fro from a spectrum to being more completely emotional to completely rational. Money is one such chapter which I cannot miss upon. But yeah, if you are to say top three, so it should be forgiveness, money, and the bucket list chapter. It would be.
Okay, okay. These are your
Yeah,
favorite chapters.
yeah.
Okay, very
These
good,
are
very
my
good, very
favorite chapters. Mhm.
good. So,
Sir,
what was your first? I'll be asking you a question.
mhm,
What was
mhm.
your first word when you just finished that book? Just after finishing the book, what was your first word?
It has been a roller coaster ride. It has been a roller coaster ride.
You sent me, WhatsApp me as well. It has been
Ha
a
ha.
roller coaster ride. Yeah,
It has been a roller coaster ride. Me being a person, I find very difficulty. Like I genuinely struggle doing things in moderation. Whenever I study like hell. Whenever I do work like there is no tomorrow. Whenever I am on a relaxing mood, I feel like okay, fine. I have mostly forgotten anything and everything. So my three most important takeaway from this book is to learn to do some everything in moderation. It actually balances our life. This is what I found it very insightful. And second is, you have very nicely mentioned in the book that we need to learn or we need to practice forgiveness. This is important. At the same time, you need to be wise also, that you should not mix up forgiveness with foolishness. So be
exactly.
wise when it comes to forgiveness, and at the same time, be kind also, and make sure whom you are forgiving, and forget not whom you are forgiving. So this is what I
Exactly.
it touched my heart, because we live in a society which is full of people who are very like people who are putting up mask and roaming here and there, finding people, nice people in life, and getting people, genuine people as your friend. Like, make friends to make friends with. So in that case, we eventually may meet people who I don't know. So we need to be more selective when it comes to friends. And
Definitely.
even if we get a lot of learnings or lessons, whatever, so we need to learn how to forgive them. So yeah, in that case. So my next question for you would be, sir, okay, if a 20-year-old, like, what would be your advice to a 20, or someone in his or her mid 20s, like what chapter you should focus upon so that you should maximize your like, or you, what do I say, or you should, you will be able to um, enjoy your 20s at the most. Like, if I were 20, if someone would have told me, I would have practiced this and I would have be at a profit. If it is the same thing, then what would be your advice to a 20-year-old person who would be reading the book?
Basically, most of the 20-year-old guys, kids basically, in my eyes, they're kids basically. So they live under this false impression that बहुत टाइम है, बहुत टाइम है, काफी सारा टाइम बचे, है ना? We have plenty of time ahead. But this is the biggest, what to say, misconception that most of the people, particularly in their early 20s, they have. Because time nahi hai aapke, you know, we don't have much time. The way time flies, you just cannot imagine. If you are 20 now, very soon you'll not even realize you'll be 30 and you'll be 40 very soon after that. So time flies like that, and you have to be the master of that time. So whatever is your potential now, certain things I could do, like I used to be a very good fielder, you know. I used to jump a lot. I used to play a lot of cricket, and I used to jump a lot. I used to like field in the safe boundaries and all. But I was playing with my son, and I could not even bend properly to pick up the ball now because I'm getting older, you know. So, but even a few years back, I used to just throw my body on the ground, you know. So all those acrobatics and all. But now I don't have that. So gradually, whatever you are having, those things will start diminishing because time nahi hai, है ना? And that's why I have written a particularly but one chapter in that book, Anthony Burgess, है ना? So my own only advice is that to the 20-year-old kids, that you don't have much time in hand, and most of the time that you have, you are wasting it for other purposes or for planning. Planning is definitely required, but planning to action, that is the biggest part, the most difficult part of life. So do not plan much, plan a little and start working, and do not waste your potential, because I've seen so many young individuals to waste their potentials. They cannot be something or someone in life just because they could not realize the potentials they had. So you have to realize your potential, and then you have to reach the sky. And उसके लिए time ज़्यादा नहीं है तुम्हारे पास. You have to reach the sky very fast because time is running away, है ना? Every day we are actually moving towards death. Just let's think it this way. Today is 12th January 2025. This will never come back in your life, and you are one day older every day. So basically, every day you are moving ahead towards that culmination of life, death. So make the most of today, because you do not know about future, you know, and the past is already gone. You cannot rule over the past. You cannot worry over the future. What is in your hand is to make the best use of the present. So do that. Fly high, shine, rise and shine. That's my advice.
So, sir, it has been an intensive writing process. There are so many chapters, so many concepts, and you have even provided questions which are needs to be pondered upon while answering. So, my question would be, what was your approach while writing these questions? Did you use AIs or any other writing tools or research tools, or you were the person who sticks to the traditional belief when it comes to creative writing?
See, those who are aware with the book Make It Big, I follow a certain pattern, the Saptarshi pattern, and I will be following in every non-fiction books. You know, so make it big. With make it big, I started that pattern, and that pattern I cannot claim the originality of this pattern because one of the my most favorite books of all time is What Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. And Norman Lewis follows this specific style of certain days and asking certain questions after each chapter. I read it when I was like maybe in my 20s. And then I fell in love with Norman Lewis, and that love is still intact even now. So when I wrote Make It Big, I followed his template. है ना? So I used to like put questions after every chapter related to or pertaining to that particular chapter. And I have continued that template in this book. And those questions were actually not written while I wrote that chapter. Later on, when I was thinking about the chapter, how to make the chapter even more beautiful, even more with more content, then those questions came on my mind. So I thought of like putting the answers in the chapter, but then I restrained myself and thought that let's ask the readers these questions. है ना? So if you answer these questions, maybe the volume of that answer will be even bigger than that chapter. So I do not try. I mean, use any AI tool to like. You don't need any tool to prepare these questions. If you are sincerely in love with whatever you have written, then you do not need any other tool. And I am completely a believer of this traditional writing method. You know, the only thing that I write in laptop, not with pen and paper any longer, but the Bengali book that I've started rather, that I'll be writing in pen and paper only. And this is the thing. This is the thing that about writing. And AI can be a very good tool for designing or for preparation of study materials. But if you mix AI with literature, then something very bad is going to happen. Because I searched for Saptarshi Nag at one point. Nowadays, they are coming with better answers. Still, I'm not satisfied who Saptarshi Nag is. So I thought that Saptarshi Nag is followed. I think that kind of line I got. He is followed by millions of, and I was thinking, ah, yeah, he is even more like positive than me. And Saptarshi Nag is followed by millions of people uh, in the whole world, and he owns a Ferrari, something kind of uh, thing like they came up with. So I don't trust AI completely, and I'll never use AI for any literature. Yeah. But definitely for graphics designs, I may use AI. Yeah.
All right, sir. So basically, you justify the phrase "you're man of your words," be it more sarcastically or be it more like. Also, in the book, you have mentioned that we need to have a very good sense of humor in order to deal with, um, and also it helps you in public speaking as well. Can you just like you being a very good orator, I can see you are a motivational speaker as well, and I think that part of your personality has also reflected in your writing. And how would you like to our viewers who are currently watching right now, can you just give two or three suggestions how to improve public speaking skills, and how this book can help you to integrate the habit of public speaking and to get rid of the fear of speaking publicly?
As the person, like I remember during my childhood, it was Rabindra Jayanti, the birth anniversary of the great Rabindranath Tagore, and as asked to recite a poem. And that poem was also a very simple poem. Like that one class one or class two kids, they read "Tal gach ek paye dariye, sob gach chariye, uki mare akashe." That, and I stood on the stage and I looked at the people. They were looking at me, and I started Tal Namaskar. Then I started reciting Tal gach ek paye dariye, and then I just ran away from that stage. Okay, because and it was such an embarrassing moment for my mother. So and from that day, that fear, you know, of public speaking, that actually grabbed me, and so I had to work a lot. And it was during my career as video, then I had to deliver a lot of speeches, and I had to address the people. Then I got back that courage, I got that strength, and I just told myself one thing, let's not be very ornamental in your speeches. Whatever is coming on your mind, you are delivering that only. So for that, public speaking, the number one thumb rule is that you have to be honest. You cannot show the world like how gaudy this, how flashy this world can be, but you have to be very honest. You have to be brutally true, number one. And number two is like, you have to accept your failures. Like, I have fumbled so many times while delivering a speech, but most of the people, they could not understand that I was fumbling or I was looking for words. Even now, when I'm just speaking, at times I fumble for words. But then what I do while delivering a public speech is that I just mix my sense of humor with that speech. I have always like hundreds of stories, anecdotes, humorous stories in my kitty. And whenever I'm in trouble, those stories, those anecdotes come to rescue me, because I deliver that. Suddenly I just tell them that story, and their attention is diverted. And the audience cannot understand that this man is actually uh, trying to get back his words. So that's another way to mix your sense of humor. And three is like the third and the most important part, it has to be you. You cannot be someone else in your life or in your speeches. While you're delivering speech, you cannot be Shah Rukh Khan. You cannot be Mel Gibson. You cannot be Barack Obama. While you're delivering a speech, it is you, and people are listening to you, not Steve Jobs, है ना, or Mark Zuckerberg. They're listening to you, that persona. So try to dig in and find what is your asset and present it before the public. So being you, having the sense of humor, and like that courage, facing yourself. These are the things to be a good and proper public speaker.
Very nice, impressive. So, so it's good. Like most of us, when it, especially when it comes to English, people have a fear of speaking, and that too when it comes to public speaking. You have also mentioned there's a mirror therapy, and this you have also adopted this mirror therapy, and also your story which you have mentioned in your book, that you don't really enrolled in any other coaching institutes for spoken English classes. You simply used to call out the customer care executives so that you can talk, just to get rid of the fear and the awkwardness um, that we might face when it comes to speaking in person, initially at least. So that's a very nice way. I often tell my students this is, I mean, when I found that you have also adopted that technique, I was like, oh my god, this is too good to be true.
After reading this book, my readers, uh, they may call Saptarshi a CCE stalker. And the next time the customer care executives are meeting me, they would be very much afraid. They'd be very much scared, because this guy is a CCE stalker. Because I used to badger them. I used to annoy them like anything over phone. You know, I didn't have the money needed to get a Motorola phone, but yet I called the Motorola, like those that customer care, just to speak in English. And one day I just told them I was so appreciative of that product, just to see whether my words are merging with my emotions or not. And then very next day, I was very angry about that product, the product which I didn't buy. You know? So this way I used to just test myself. And they didn't know me, so there's no fear of like there's no fear. And unfortunately, one day, one customer care executive, she found out that this is the person who always disturbs us. And she was like so angry, furious over the phone, but who cares? I got my job done. That's it. Please,
No,
please
no,
go ahead.
that's wonderful. That's fun. This is how this is a portraying, like this is how you portraying that how emotionally intelligent you are. And since you have said ki you don't preach what you don't practice, there's a chapter in book where you have mentioned about emotional intelligence. And nowadays with the growing trend and with the societal situation and circumstances, it is even said that emotional intelligence is way more important than intelligence, that EQ is way more superior than IQ in terms of success, in terms of sense of fulfillment in life. So, what is your take on this? What is your insight on this emotional intelligence? Like how
Emotion,
to develop emotional intelligence at least?
emotional intelligence is like first thing to develop emotional intelligence. I need, I think one needs to be empathetic, right? Suppose you are interviewing me, you know. So unless I can put myself in your place, on your place, on your shoes, then how do I know how much trouble you are facing? है ना? Maybe there is a backstory. Maybe there is a story that just before coming to this life, you had some problem, you had some distress, है ना? But still you are smiling. Maybe still you are like talking this way beautifully. So I have to put myself in your position first. है ना? Once I do that, once I be empathetic. Sympathy तो सभी दिखाते हैं ना? When you meet a beggar, you are actually sympathetic. You give her a 10 rupee note, but basically that's sympathy, you know. But right now what I'm talking about is empathy. And once that empathy is generated, it's going to be there with you whenever you are in a heated discussion. Just I have not, I cannot say that I have developed this fully, because no one can master this art, but I have tried, or of late I'm trying to put myself in her or his position and being empathetic. And once I've done, I've seen that I have been able to restrain my emotional outburst. And this is, I believe, emotional intelligence is. So empathy is the best thing. And I have written in the book one very good, uh, beautiful line is there, that in India, we are taught to appreciate the earth. In Japan or other developed countries, they are taught the art of appreciation. So
Appreciation.
once you start appreciating others, things actually change, है ना? Emotionally, मतलब IQ तो सबके पास होता है ना? Most of the people, they have some good IQs, good students, but we have seen so many successful people who are monsters in their lives just because they have very high IQ, but they lacked that EQ. So this balance is very much needed. And along with that, what you need is that your HQ, humor quotients. If you mix properly these three ingredients, IQ, EQ, and HQ, then you are going to rock in your life. So HQ is also a very important part. You know, someone says something bad about you, and instead of reacting, if you just say words about you in front of yourself, then the problem is solved. You know,
You
you are
being
not
the
looking
devil's
good.
advocate, being the devil's
Yeah.
advocate. Yeah?
If
Okay.
someone say tells me that I do not look good, I'll say, yeah, definitely. I have such big teeth, I have such big ears, I have such big eyes. How can I look good? So that deprecating humor, that is very much needed. And that's all. Emotional intelligence is very much needed. Gratitude, appreciation, and empathy, these are the ingredients of having this EQ.
So, in coming to this emotion part, like while penning down all the chapters, like um, while writing, which chapter or which chapter made you emotional? Like when you were like you burst into emotions while penning down the chapter. Which chapters are those?
A chapter about the parents. It has
Parents.
to be the chapter. It's definitely the chapter about the parents. Because I have narrated certain stories which I'm not going to share here, because that will be spoiler for the readers. I've narrated certain stories which are actually real and actually happened, and somehow changed my perspective. I was telling the earlier in this interview only, I was telling that younger kids, they believe they're always under the false impression that they have so much time in their hand, which is absolutely wrong. So Everyone makes that mistake because we do not have time. And such one instance has been shared in that book, in that particular chapter. So whatever you're being asked to do, or whatever you think you should do, you should do it now, because you may not see the world tomorrow. It may happen, the world may be destroyed tonight. Who knows? So better not to leave this world with strings, with music still to be played in your heart. Be full, then live. That's the philosophy.
All right. That's really good to hear from you, sir. I have a question. Like, what is life according to you? Since you are actually penning down a book for self help, self help guide, and you have pondered so much things and penned down so much things, and these are the real reflections of your thought process. So, what is your perception about life? What is life according to Saptarshi Nag?
Life is a journey. Life is a transformative journey. Life is all about today what you are. You may not be the same person tomorrow. Life is all about evolving. Life is all about changing in a positive way. Life is a beautiful gift. I've shared one story in that book only. I've shared all those things in the book. Like one of my favorite films, It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. And that story, you know, Frank Capra directed this masterpiece, It's a Wonderful Life. James Stewart was there. It's my favorite actor of that era. So, I mean, if you just think, had you not been there, suppose Neha Dash, start believing this way, you are not born. Okay. So, what are the things people would have missed? Then you will see there are hundreds of reasons to love life. You know? If you had not been there on this earth, certain things, hundreds of things, positive things, great things would not have happened. And just because you are there, those things have happened. Most of the phases, in most of the times, what we do, what wrong has been done just because of our presence, we often highlight, we often worry about that. You know, I was listening to a very wonderful thing from Navjot Singh Sidhu that day. We do chinta, but we fail to do chintan. And चिंता चिता समान होता है ना? So chinta is what actually makes us think, takes us to our grave, and chintan takes us to heaven, है ना? So chintan is very much important about life. It's about appreciating yourself. That's why my book starts with the chapter loving yourself, the importance of loving yourself. Because unless you highlight whatever you have achieved in your life, if I'm feeling very depressed, then I would start with a diary. Whatever good things I've done in my life, whatever good things I've done for myself or for others or for the society. And then suddenly, from depression, from a gloomy surrounding, life will start shining for me in front of my eyes. So it's very important that you give importance to your own existence or presence. And that is life. And only then you will realize it's a wonderful life. Life is beautiful. That's it.
Sir, what a wonderful explanation, I might say. I must say, rather, I should say. Also, in this journey of life, we often confuse our achievements and we often associate with our achievements with our self worth. So there's a saying ki that, like you said, ki if you wouldn't have been here, what are the good things that world would miss without Neha? So this is what defines my worth as an individual. So here, what happens? People mostly having this conditions of worth. They are seeing themselves. I'm worthy only if I get through this examination. I'm worthy only if I get this job. I'm worthy only if I have this package. I'm worthy if I have or possess these things. And often when the expectations are not met, they feel themselves as a failure. They see themselves as a failure when there's a clear cut discrepancy with the real self and the ideal self. So how would you say, like, what is your advice for the viewers ki how to deal with this? So how to what is your outlook um as of self-worth?
The Almighty has given us everything, but the problem is that we do not accept those that everything. The Indian or the like the people with black dark hair, you know, they often dye their hair with blonde colors. You know? Whereas the blondes, actual blondes, they often dye their color black because
Black.
both are not happy with whatever they have got. You know, the people who are not fair skinned, they apply so many creams, so many cosmetics, so many chemicals to look fairer. And those who are very fair, they just spend time in the sea beach to tan themselves to get a bit darker look. Because if no one is happy, so the only person is who is happy with whatever they have. You know, you just see uh, Denzel Washington. है ना? You take the name Denzel Washington, one of my most favorite actors, है ना? Morgan Freeman, है ना? Would you call him? He is very dashing kind of thing. No, but still he delivered one of the finest performances in the world. One of my favorite singers, particularly in my growing years, used to be Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder is famous for so many songs, but Indians often like recognize him with this song that I just call to say. That was used in Maine Pyar Kiya, है ना? So Stevie Wonder could not see. He always used to put that glass on. So those people who actually succeeded, who actually understood the meaning of life, for them beauty mattered nothing. For them the appearance mattered nothing. For them the like external appearance, it mattered nothing, because what they had internally was enough to enlighten this whole world. That's how they achieved success, and they are still remembered. Even we are talking about Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington in this show because they have done something, they have achieved something. Leonardo DiCaprio, of late, if you see, he has gained so much of weight. है ना? I love this guy just because not he is one of the finest actors ever in the whole world. But he's never ashamed of his. You just remember in Titanic, he used to be such a cute guy. Every girl used to fall for him. That hair, that lock of hair, that smile, everything. And in the very next movie, he transformed himself. That next movie was The Beach. And I think Danny Boyle's The Beach, and he transformed himself. He played with his look. He was no longer that cute guy. है ना? He had this wonderful love story, Titanic, with Kate Winslet, and in the next movie together they did was Revolutionary Road in 2008, and there they were like the, I mean, irritated couple, always fighting with each other. है ना? So Leonardo, even if you see his recent works, he has gained so much of weight, and he doesn't like do anything to look very special because he is already special. So it's all about being with that, understanding your self-worth. Whatever you have, that is beautiful. You are beautiful. I am beautiful. Once we realize this, there's nothing comes in the way. That's it.
Very nice, sir. Sir, the very last chapter of your book is titled as Die Empty. Okay. So, and also, chalo, before we go on to that part, there's one interesting chapter I have encountered, that here in this 21st century where every influencer is talking about stay away from negativity, please embrace and accept positive thinking, have a positive mindset. You, on the contrary, you have advocated for negativity, and you have said that embrace negativity. Now this is something which is very different concept that you have put up. So can you please tell me, like, what is the ideology behind this?
One of the finest motivational speakers of India. I used to respect him a lot, and he is all about spreading positivity and all. And one day, another creator, and he has like, I'm not telling that taking the name, he has more than millions, maybe billion, है ना? Not billion, millions of subscribers, and he he was all about positivity, embracing positivity, all that thing. Suddenly, one influential, another YouTube influencer, he made a video criticizing him. है ना? And the very next day, we saw he started continuously posting on Facebook, YouTube community, and how he will take action against that thing. And that mask was gone. It just needed one guy and one video to peel that mask off of that positive guy. I'm not taking the name, but I think you will understand. So, all those who talk about positivity all the time, they are actually not doing justice to this word positivity. Negativity and positivity are just like life and death. They exist together. They're in conflict with each other. We cannot be immortals. We cannot escape death. So positivity cannot ever eschew, cannot ever avoid negativity. And negativity will always be there. Negativity is always be there in your life, uh, but it will poke you. If you do not embrace negativity, it will start poking you, it will disturb you, it will annoy you, and you will be gloomy, you will be depressed, you will be in distress all the time, just because you didn't allow negativity to harbor in your mind. So take a time, particular time, maybe 11 to 11:30. All the negative thoughts that you are actually coming on your mind, you open the window for them. Just start thinking, if earthquake happens right now, if the roof just gets destroyed, if I die, all these negative thoughts, give space for half an hour in the entire day. That's what exactly NTT Showman, he has read that chapter. So this is all talked about. Once you start giving negativity the space, negativity gets its importance. Negativity is very happy, and negativity has also become positivity. है ना? So he is happy to like go away and find other people's mind, है ना? Who are actually talking about positivity and who are actually blocking that door, that window of negativity. So allow it to harbor in your mind, routine wise, and then it will leave you gradually, and it will find its next destination. Right? So that's it. Negativity.
Like I said, guys, this is a book full packed of unusual and creative thoughts, which will actually bound you to think differently. So, if any one of you have already read a few chapters of the book, or if definitely you should give it a reading after watching this podcast. And if anyone is willing, from the audience section, is if anyone is willing to answer or question, if willing to ask anything to get an answer from Saptarshi sir, so you are feel free to ask. We are actually looking at the chat section. If any question comes up, we are definitely going to take up the question, and the sir is going to answer. And also, for those who haven't read it uh, till now, I would say do give it a reading. It's a very lucidly written book. The English is very nicely written, and it can be easily understood. No fancy words, just my heartfelt philosophy has been penned down by Saptarshi sir. And there is no fancy fairy tale utopian touch to the book. He has basically he has basically framed the book in a very practical manner, what happens in the society, and how a rational person, like I said, if an administrator are to write a book, so there has to be some administrative touch with a, like, he's being a administrator with a heart of a psychologist. So this is how he has been written writing this piece of book. So, moving on to the last chapter, sir, it's about dying empty. So, what is your perception of this emptiness? Is it the emptiness that we are actually understanding, or there's a different connotation behind this emptiness?
See, There's a man, very poor, okay, and he was not married because no one was willing to marry him, okay, and he didn't have any money, you know. He loved kids, but unfortunately, he was not married, so he didn't have any kids. He used to dream about a big, big, big house. He used to dream about money, but he didn't have anything. So one day, God came and asked him, I'm giving you just one boon. So he started thinking, to fulfill all my ambitions, I need at least three or four boons. First, make me rich. Second, uh, ensure that I'm married. Third, ensure that I have many children. Ensure that I have many grandchildren after that. Ensure that I have a palace and all. So God said, no, I can just offer you just one boon. So what that will be, and whatever you ask for. uh, So that guy was very clever and answered, God, give me the boon that after 50 years living in a palace, I can feed my grandchild the most costliest food of this earth. है ना? So God said yes, done. And he became rich. Grandchildren, he was married, he was rich, he had that palace, he got all his wishes fulfilled. So then he could say, when he was leaving the world, he just said, thank God, God, you have given me everything. I'm so happy and content that I do not need anything. I've given all my love, I've shared all my love with this world. Now it's time to bid adieu to this beautiful world and to meet you in heaven. And so that is when you achieve everything as per your potential. Now, if I suddenly start believing that I'll have a flat, I'll buy a plot in moon, that's something abstract. If you start believing that, it's not going to have going to happen. May happen, but chances are very less. So, according to your potential, whatever you aspire, whatever you dream, if you have achieved that, only then you leave the world. Till then, ask God to keep you alive because you have to reach the fullest of your potential. There are so many songs to be played in your heart, but we leave this world with the music still to be played. So keep everything open, everything for the society, everything for the world. Give it everything, and then leave the world happy and content. So that is about dying empty. है ना? Dying empty. है ना? That's it. And that's, I'm not going to talk any further about the last chapter or any other chapters. Overall book,
So
okay.
I have tried to give a trailer of the entire book in a best way possible. So furthermore, it's now your part of work to go and give it a reading. Sir has used a lot of quotes in the books. Can you just please tell me what is your favorite quote among the numerous quote you have used in the book? Like if you want to, and even if you want to keep it private, so that's up to you. Not an issue.
Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And another thing is Swahili proverb is there. I've used that. The X forgets, but the tree remembers. है ना? And there is a story as well. And the father, son, and the nails. है ना? You remember? So that's the most favorite quote. The tree, the X forgets, but the tree remembers. It's so apt, so practical, so practicable in all our lives.
Yeah. So it's really a very good thing, and we have so many things from this podcast as well. I have read the book also. There was this everything. Sir has tried to cover is every aspect of a life, and I'm also sharing one of a comment given by one of our members that if life is a journey, and then this book is a Bible. So something or like that, this was the comment that I was reading in the reviews.
Yeah.
So I totally I agree with that person,
This comment totally justifies whoever has written the comment. Shout out to that person. If you are there in the podcast, do feel free to come up. And also one more thing that sir has taught throughout this book, that we need to be resilient. Okay, so in order to develop resilience and the positive traits in your personality, I find this book is a very good tool or a resource to have in your bucket list, definitely. Um, so um, thank you, sir, for this insightful session. um, that's it. I am actually running out of words because what do I say? I am starstruck. I thought of interviewing, but we have ended up with a very nice conversation. I will definitely look forward to have more such conversation with you in your future. Thank you, sir.
Definitely, Neha. It has been such a wonderful experience to share my ideas with you, to listen from you, whatever you have liked in the book, and you have recommended the book to all. So I'd be requesting, I'd be having an appeal to all my followers or all the audience that give this book a chance, so that later on, once you finish this book, you will thank this book for giving your life a chance, है ना? Because this is going to change your life forever, है ना? Those who have read this book can vouch for that. So give this book a read. The link has already been shared in the description of the video. I think this video, the figure that we are having here in live, I think that is for just one platform, but there are so many other destinations where this is being broadcasted. So many other people, viewers, are also watching this. So my request will be to get the book, read it, share your reviews, and I'd love to hear from you how much you loved the book. So thank you all. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for thinking of reading the book, or thank you for being here with us. And a special thanks to Neha for having me, for मुझे इतना देर तक झेलने के लिए, बर्दाश्त करने के लिए. So I'd be thanking you so much. It has been such a pleasant, such a lovely conversation. You are a natural speaker, so it has been like a wonderful
No,
experience.
no,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
You have this trait of being modest and downplaying your achievements. So, yeah, no, you are very modest in that say. Also, guys, even from my end, also I'll be recommending this book. Please do give it a reading. You will find it very rejuvenating. And also, there's one more thing, guys. This is not just a book. This is a guidebook, to be very specific, I should say. So whether you are, like I said, whether you are seeking for personal growth, whether you are uh, aiming to change or overcome any challenges in your life, or whether you just want to upgrade to a better version, this is a one stop solution, guys. You have to give it a reading and thank me later. And those who have still not started reading, thank me later after seeing this podcast. And do not forget to share your reviews on the buying portal, or you are feel free to share wherever you feel like sharing your reviews.
Thank you so much, Neha. Thank you so much.
Every morning we rise with a desire to rediscover ourselves, to make this world a little better, a little brighter. But often we're held back by doubt, by fear, by the comfort of the familiar. What if, in just 28 days, you could break free from these chains? What if you could think differently, act purposefully, and truly unlock your potential? 28 Days of Thinking Differently isn't just a book. It's your personal guide to transformation. Through 28 life-changing chapters, this journey will teach you to manage your anger, master your thoughts, understand the power of saying no, and redefine your relationship with money, success, and self-worth. Packed with real-life experiences, thought-provoking questions, and practical techniques, this book is your roadmap to becoming the best version of you. Are you ready to rewrite your story one day at a time? Step out of your comfort zone, embrace the challenge, and let the journey begin. 28 Days of Thinking Differently.